It was supposed to be the happiest night of my life. My 30th birthday party, a celebration with all my friends and family, and the perfect moment to announce that Justin and I were expecting. The cake was ordered, the decorations were up, and I was practically buzzing with excitement. Then, as I stood ready to make the announcement, Justin grabbed the microphone, a crumpled piece of paper in his hand, and declared he was leaving me. The words he read were cruel, calculated, and completely public. I should have known something was wrong, but I was so caught up in the joy of the pregnancy that I missed all the signs. I'll never forget the humiliation, the sheer disbelief, as my world crumbled around me. Hello, everyone. My name is Lily, and I'm still trying to piece my life back together after that night.
I want to share my story with you, a story of heartbreak, betrayal, and ultimately, resilience. I hope it can offer some comfort or perhaps even a little bit of hope if you're going through something similar. Please, take a moment to comment below and tell me where you're listening from. It always helps to know I'm not alone in this. The weeks that followed were a blur of tears and disbelief. My apartment, once a sanctuary filled with dreams of our future, now felt like a prison. Friends and family rallied around me, offering support and endless cups of tea, but nothing could quite fill the gaping hole Justin had left. It wasn't just the loss of the relationship, it was the shattering of the future I had so carefully envisioned. Slowly, though, the shock began to wear off, replaced by a burning anger.
I started to piece together the puzzle of Justin's sudden departure, and what I discovered was even more devastating than I could have imagined. A friend, Sarah, who had always been suspicious of Justin, gently suggested I check his emails. I hesitated, the thought of invading his privacy making me uneasy, but the nagging feeling that something wasn't right finally pushed me over the edge. What I found was a meticulously crafted web of lies. Justin had been having an affair with a woman named Maria for months. The emails were filled with intimate details, promises of a future together, and cruel jokes about me. It was like being stabbed all over again, each email a fresh wound. But the betrayal didn't stop there. As I dug deeper, I uncovered a mountain of financial troubles Justin had been hiding.
He was deeply in debt, had been gambling away our savings, and was on the verge of losing everything. The perfect life he had presented to the world was a carefully constructed facade, built on lies and deceit. The anger I felt was all-consuming, but it was also strangely empowering. It gave me a focus, a reason to get out of bed each morning. I was no longer just a victim. I was a mother-to-be, and I had a responsibility to protect my child. I decided to channel all my energy into preparing for the baby and building a stable future for us. I enrolled in prenatal classes, started researching childcare options, and began meticulously budgeting my finances. A few weeks later, around 10 p.m. one Saturday night, I heard a frantic knocking at my door. I peeked through the peephole and saw Justin, disheveled and clearly intoxicated, leaning against the doorframe. I almost slammed the door shut, but a flicker of curiosity and perhaps a morbid sense of satisfaction stopped me. "Lily, please, let me in," he slurred, his voice thick with alcohol. "I need to talk to you." Reluctantly, I opened the door, keeping the chain lock in place. "What do you want, Justin?" I asked, my voice cold and controlled. "Maria, she dumped me," he stammered, tears welling up in his eyes. "She said I was a mess, a loser. She said she never really loved me." I felt a pang of something I couldn't quite identify. Not sympathy, exactly, but perhaps a sense of pity. He looked utterly broken, the picture of a man whose world was crumbling around him. "And now you come crawling back to me?" I said, my voice laced with sarcasm. "After everything you've done?" "I made a mistake, Lily," he pleaded.
The biggest mistake of my life. Please, give me another chance. I'll do anything. Anything? I scoffed. You broke my heart, Justin. You betrayed my trust. You abandoned me when I needed you the most. And now you expect me to just forgive you and take you back? He hung his head, shamefaced. I know I don't deserve it, he mumbled. But I don't know what else to do. My life is a mess. I've lost everything. I took a deep breath, trying to remain calm. Justin, I'm pregnant. I'm having your baby. Whether you like it or not, we're going to be connected for the rest of our lives. But that doesn't mean we're getting back together. I can't trust you anymore. I won't put myself or my child through that again. He looked up. His eyes filled with a mixture of hope and despair. So what does that mean? He asked. It means we need to figure out a way to co-parent, I said firmly.
For the sake of our child. But it's going to be on my terms. I'm going to set clear boundaries, and you're going to respect them. And I'm going to consult with a lawyer to make sure everything is legally binding. He nodded slowly, absorbing my words. Okay, he said quietly. Okay, I understand. I closed the door, leaving him standing on the doorstep. I leaned against the door frame, my heart pounding in my chest. I had no idea what the future held, but I knew one thing for sure. I was not going to let Justin ruin my life. The next few weeks were a delicate dance of cautious communication and legal maneuvering. I hired a lawyer to draw up a co-parenting agreement that protected my rights and the best interests of my child. Justin, to his credit, cooperated fully, agreeing to all the terms I proposed. Then another blow fell.
Justin called me one evening, his voice shaking with anxiety. "Lily, I've lost my job," he said. "They found out about everything, the affair, the gambling debts. They said I was a liability." I felt a strange mix of emotions. Part of me felt vindicated, as if he was finally getting what he deserved. But another part of me felt a flicker of concern. He was the father of my child, and if he was unemployed and struggling, it would ultimately affect our baby. "Justin, I'm sorry to hear that," I said, trying to sound neutral. "But it doesn't change anything. You still have a responsibility to support our child." "I know," he said miserably. "But I don't know how I'm going to do that without a job." "Then you need to figure it out. I'm not going to let you off the hook. I'm going to pursue child support, and I expect you to pay it. I don't care how you do it. Get a new job, sell your car, whatever it takes. Our child comes first." A week later, I received a notification that Justin had enrolled in a parenting class. I was surprised, to say the least. I hadn't expected him to take such an active interest in preparing for fatherhood. I decided to remain cautiously optimistic. Over the next few months, I saw a slow but steady transformation in Justin. He started attending therapy, he stopped drinking, and he seemed genuinely committed to turning his life around. He attended all the prenatal appointments, asked thoughtful questions, and even started reading parenting books. One afternoon, as we were leaving a doctor's appointment, he turned to me. His eyes filled with a sincerity I hadn't seen before. "Lily, I know I messed up," he said. "I know I can never fully make up for what I did. But I want you to know that I'm truly sorry, and I promise you I will be the best father I can be to our child. I won't let you down again." I looked at him, searching his eyes for any sign of deception. I couldn't deny that he seemed genuine. "I hope so, Justin," I said softly. "For all our sakes, I really hope so." As my due date approached, I found myself thinking about Maria. I knew it was irrational, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I needed to talk to her, to understand what had happened from her perspective. I managed to track her down through a mutual friend and sent her a message, asking if she would be willing to meet. To my surprise, she agreed. We met at a small coffee shop downtown. She was younger than I had imagined, with a quiet, almost timid demeanor. "Thank you for meeting me," I said, taking a sip of my coffee. "I know this must be awkward." "It is," she admitted, "but I wanted to hear what you had to say." I took a deep breath. I just wanted to understand. What happened? Why did Justin do what he did? Maria hesitated for a moment, then sighed. "He's a manipulator, Lily," she said quietly. He's good at making you feel like you're the only person in the world, but it's all an act. He needs constant validation, constant attention, and he's not afraid to lie to get it. She went on to describe how Justin had seduced her with promises of a better life, how he had painted me as a controlling, unhappy partner. She had believed him, at first, but eventually, she had seen through his lies. "I'm so sorry for what happened," she said, her voice filled with remorse. "I didn't know about the baby until after I ended things with him. If I had known, I never would have gotten involved." I nodded slowly, absorbing her words.
It was strange, but hearing her story gave me a sense of closure. It helped me understand that Justin's actions were not a reflection of my worth as a person. They were a reflection of his own insecurities and flaws. As I was navigating the final weeks of my pregnancy, a new person entered my life. Eli, the delivery guy. He worked for a local organic grocery store, and he started delivering my groceries every week. He was kind, thoughtful, and always went out of his way to make sure I had everything I needed. We started chatting during the deliveries, and I found myself looking forward to his visits. He was a good listener, and he always seemed to know how to make me laugh. He was also incredibly supportive of my pregnancy, offering words of encouragement and practical advice.
One day, as he was leaving, he turned to me and said, "You know, Lily, you're an amazing woman. You're strong, resilient, and beautiful, and any man would be lucky to have you." I blushed, feeling a warmth spread through my chest. "Thank you, Eli," I said softly. "That means a lot." He smiled. "I just wanted you to know that. And if you ever need anything at all, please don't hesitate to call." As I closed the door, I couldn't help but wonder if Eli might be something more than just a delivery guy. Finally, the day arrived. I went into labor early in the morning, and after a long and arduous labor, I gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. I named her Zoe. Justin was there, as promised. He held my hand during the contractions, wiped my brow, and offered words of encouragement. When Zoe was born, he wept openly, overwhelmed with emotion.
In that moment, I saw a glimpse of the man I had once loved, the man I had believed he could be, and I knew, with a certainty that surprised me, that he was going to be a good father. The months that followed were a whirlwind of sleepless nights, diaper changes, and endless feedings, but they were also filled with moments of pure joy, of unconditional love, and of a profound sense of gratitude. Justin stepped up to the plate, co-parenting with me in a way I never thought possible. He was present, engaged, and completely devoted to Zoe. We established a routine that worked for both of us, sharing custody and making decisions together. It wasn't always easy. There were still moments of tension, of disagreement, and of lingering resentment. But we both knew that Zoe came first, and we were committed to putting her needs above our own.
As Zoe grew, so did I. I discovered a strength and resilience I never knew I possessed. I learned to trust my instincts, to stand up for myself, and to prioritize my own happiness. Eli continued to be a presence in my life, a source of support and friendship. We started going on walks together, sharing meals, and spending time with Zoe. Slowly, cautiously, a romantic connection began to develop. One evening, as we were sitting on my porch, watching Zoe play in the yard, Eli turned to me and said, "Lily, I know you've been through a lot, and I know you're probably not ready for anything serious. But I want you to know that I care about you. I care about Zoe, and I would love to be a part of your lives." I looked at him, my heart swelling with emotion. "Ellie," I said softly, "I care about you too. And I think I'm ready to give it a try." He smiled, his eyes shining with happiness. "Then let's do it," he said, taking my hand in his. "Let's build a life together." And so I did. I rebuilt my life, piece by piece, brick by brick. I embraced motherhood, I pursued my passions, and I found love again.
And I realized that sometimes the most devastating moments in life can lead to the most unexpected blessings. My life didn't turn out the way I had planned, but it turned out even better. I am grateful for my daughter Zoe and for the man she has as her father. And that's when I realized that even after the hardest falls in life, you can find the strength to stand back up, dust yourself off, and create a future that's even brighter than you ever imagined. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more tales of resilience and unexpected turns in life, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.